All right. So we made it to 1,000 subscribers. But right now, I appreciate y'all. I always appreciate y'all. But just to let you know, like I don't celebrate subscribers because if you have subscribers with no viewership, that's like a BBL. Like you got big cheeks with skinny legs. Nevertheless, let me restart because I didn't add it to the stage. Not everyone likes cardio, but much of society is on the treadmill, and the stop time is infinity. People are running, sweating, spending, upgrading, proving, posting, comparing, and restarting the same race every single day. They call it ambition. They call it treating themselves. They call it the American dream. But for a lot of people, it is not a dream. It is a treadmill. The hedonic treadmill is one of the pillars of the frivolous spending we see everywhere. It is the reason someone can get the thing they prayed for, posted about, dreamed about, and worked overtime for only to feel that same empty feeling come back a few days later. The new shoes get old. The new car becomes normal. The new apartment needs better furniture. The better furniture needs a better lifestyle. The better lifestyle needs better people to witness it. And the finish line keeps moving. That is the danger. Because humans are wired to care about the group. We are wired to care about other people's opinions. We are wired to care about belonging, reputation, social life, approval, and not being cast out. That wiring is not automatically evil. In a healthy society, it helps people cooperate. It helps people build community. It helps understand manners, accountability, and social awareness. But in an unhealthy society, that same wiring becomes a leash. Aware people can quiet that feature. Unaware people fall prey to it and call it living my best life. When I was a kid, I remember kids having dreams. People talked about careers, they talked about lifestyles, they talked about adventures. There was imagination in it. There was a purpose in it. There was a passion. But as we got older, something started changing. By middle school, some of those dreams got smaller. High school, many of them became more realistic. By graduation, a lot of people had traded purpose for approval. Some chose what their parents wanted. Some chose what would pay enough to look like they were winning. Some chose paths that offered status. Some chose paths that gave them access to the unlimited fountain of the public's attention. And I'm not saying money does not matter. Money matters. Stability matters. Shelter matters. Transportation, food, healthcare, safety matters. But a lot of people are not chasing stability. They are chasing a costume. They are chasing a lifestyle that has to be witnessed by others in order to feel real. And no matter the path, no matter the status, no matter the material purchases, many people still look for more because in many cases, the chase is not really about the object. It is an unconscious chase for inner peace. People underestimate the conditions of their insides, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and all of those things impacts quality of life. Quality of life is not just what you own, it is what your day feels like inside your own body. You can see it clearly with someone who has had 15 surgeries. The conversation changes immediately. Can he make long treks? Will he do well in an airport? Will he need wheelchair assistance? What happens when there is no one around to help him? What does independence look like after the body has been through that much? That is quality of life, not the outfit, not the watch, not the logo, not the restaurant picture, not the car note that has your nervous system in a chokehold. Quality of life is what your life feels like when no one is watching. But a lot of people are so focused on buying under the guise of treating myself or feeling good. They never ask whether the thing actually makes them feel good. Many of the usual products and services do not make people feel good. They simply match the trends other people have set. And once people get caught in that rhythm, they start confusing participation with fulfillment. They get to sit at the perpetual table of eternal victimhood. They demonize external sources for their own decisions and failures and shortcomings in their life, even though their patterns are the reason why their life is on repeat because it's a repeat patterns. They imagine some golden hand will appear one day with the answer. And every time they get a windfall, a bonus, a pay raise, a tax refund, a lump sum, the first reflex is consumption and spending and doing things to show the rest of the world that you have wealth, even though if the economy is as bad as people say it is, it's very dangerous to be displaying wealth online, especially on public profiles where people literally know your whole daily routine because y'all post it. not protection, not preparation, not repair, not stability, consumption. It is such a widespread behavior that people do not even question it. They see extra money and immediately ask, what can I buy? Not what can I fix? Not what can I prevent? What can I build? What can I finally stop worrying about? That is how deep the programming goes. And then something else happens. When you receive something that the people around you did not receive or may never receive, jealousy and envy can start moving in the room. And I say unconscious jealousy because unaware people do unaware things. But when they self justify because they do not want to sit with the guilt of having the thought in the first place, people do not always think in honest absolutes. They do not always say, I feel jealous. They do not always say, I wanted that and it hurts that someone else got it. They do not say, I thought I was better than them, so seeing them receive something makes me feel uncomfortable. They do not always say they're doing too much because they got something I wanted. People form thoughts and sentences that protect the ego. They change. They think they're better than everyone. They're showing off. They're doing too much. They got lucky. Must be nice. That is why accountability matters. It takes soul searching to realize, wait, let me move this over. There we go. This negative thought I am having may be jealousy forming. And one of the biggest jokes is that unaware people are also unaware that every thought is not a command. Wait, I didn't. Okay, the audio will be better now because I had the MacBook speaker on instead of the actual microphone. But a thought can appear without needing to become your personality. And one of the biggest jokes is that unaware people are also unaware that every thought is a command. A feeling can arise without needing to become your behavior. And insecurity can knock without being invited inside to rearrange furniture. There are so many things going on in the human body at one time. If you have ever seen a vehicle running with the hood up, that is us. If you have offshore experience and have seen the engine room of a vessel, that is us. If you have ever opened a PS5 to clean it, that is us. And even those examples pale in comparison to the actual complexity inside the human body. The human body is not simple. We are chemistry, memory, hormones, conditioning, trauma, habits, appetite, social pressure, fear, reward systems, childhood programming, unspoken grief, and unconscious identity. That is why change is not always as simple as saying, I'm done. Many people do not realize certain ingredients in food can become addictive. Sugar cravings can come back with a back brace and a hover round when mixed with other ingredients. Sodas can have so much sugar that it could take up a nice portion of the can if it was solidified. Food is necessary. Food is comfort, culture, connection. But when takeout and luxury dining become a daily thing, they stop being a treat and become a utility bill. And the same thing applies to shopping. The same thing applies to attention. The same thing applies to social media, to luxury. The same thing applies to chasing validation from people who barely even know themselves. These things feel good in the moment, but over time they add up. Money adds up, calories, time, clutter, stress, avoidance adds up, and habits add up. A lot of people do not understand that the body forms habits through repetition and patterns. The brain wants to make fewer decisions. That is why autopilot mode exists in humans. Autopilot is not always laziness. Sometimes autopilot is the brain trying to conserve energy. But if you build routines out of negative behaviors, autopilot will start driving you straight into the wall. This is why people making the mistake of thinking they can quit everything cold turkey and force in a new life overnight. They have not assessed the roadblocks. They have not created a plan in the event of relapse. They have not considered the social pressure around them. They have not considered what the change will mean for the other systems in their life. They have not considered that some of their relationships are actually built around the old behavior. They have not considered that their identity may be attached to the very thing they claim they want to stop. Some situations almost look like addiction. People will spend their time, money, attention, body, peace, and future chasing materials that will never, ever, ever give them the feeling they yearn for. And some people have taken fairy tales so seriously that they refuse to match their standards to what is realistically possible in this realm. Not Storyville, not Perfect Town USA, not Cinderella and the Prince. This realm, real life, real bills, real bodies, real consequences, real habits, real limitations, real healing. When people refuse reality, the chase consumes everything they have. They keep chasing an imaginary life of luxury. But when you really break down luxury, a lot of it is pointless. You pay astronomical amounts for items and garments that serve the same basic purposes as something far more reasonable. And people love to use the quality excuse, but that excuse gets laughable when you watch people chase luxury while neglecting very important parts of their life. Real wealth is not just a logo. Real wealth looks like having a primary care physician. Real wealth looks like dental care. Real wealth looks like a clean home. Real wealth looks like an emergency fund. Manners, class, grace. Real wealth looks like not being a nightmare to everyone around you. And do not use rude, wealthy people as an excuse for not having manners. Hollywood has confused people. Within real high society, decorum matters, manners matter, presentation matters, self control matters, discretion. Stop letting Hollywood versions of high society get you crossed up at the intersection, because the words happiness, love, and peace should sue for defamation. The way people keep claiming those are the things they want. The survey says that is a lie, because damn near everything people put effort into has a result that includes the perception of other people, how other people will view them. I'm going to stun on them, pop out and show people, all of this stuff. Your whole life revolves around someone else's opinion of you, which at the end of the day, that is a life never lived, because people's opinions never change. You don't even know what the internal battle that person is having. So you thinking the things you spending is going to wow them, and the person may be miserable on the inside and nothing can wow them. But have fun. And I say that with my whole chest. If that were false, many more homes, wait, because damn near everything people put effort into has a result that includes the perception of other people. If that were false, many more homes would be clean. And I say that with my whole chest. Yes, it's a war on filthy homes, because I notice people with filthy houses from real life experience always have the most to say about other people. They always had the most to say about how to raise children. They always have the most to say about what type of men another woman dating, or another what type of woman another man dating. But when you look at them, your whole roster be nothing but raccoons, squirrels, and skunks, and your house dirty. People be having animals and they be smelling like the animals because the animals poop all over their house. But be up here trying to start food businesses and telling people who can cook and who can clean. Man, look, let me go back. Over the years, I have been alarmed by how many people I have met in person or online who had lists of critiques and judgments about everyone else, celebrities, people online, people they know, characters on television shows. Everyone was up for review and judgment. Then I would see their homes or their vehicles, and it was first name Phil, last name Thee, filthy, pronounced the, filthy, like the gall, the barometer, the odd of audacities. After seeing enough of this over the years, I came to a conclusion. Society is filled with actors. People are actively picking a persona and doing everything in their power to appear to be that person. And that is why some people get uncomfortable around authenticity. When people are around me in real life, many of them are in awe, not because I'm perfect, not because I'm better than anyone. People be saying I'm fine as hell though, but that's between them and God, not me. I never said it. But because I'm actually who they thought I was, and I came with 3 bonus albums. What they saw was not just branding, it was not just performance, it was not just a costume, it was habits, discipline, self-respect, consistency. And I always found it weird when people made aggressive notice of the condition of my vehicle, the cleanliness of my home, or the organization of whatever space I preside over. Instead of saying this is nice, some people try to attach my positive habits to diagnosis, ADD, OCD, ADHD, whatever buzzword was popular that era. And I found that strange. I do not look at someone with nice things and immediately try to make it negative. When I see someone with a beautiful home, an organized life, and a spirit that is removed from impressing people, I admire it. I almost worship it, because there's something rare about a person who is actually living from the inside out. That is why no matter how charming, appealing I am to people, baby, stay away, away. I don't want no actors. This is not the Screenwriters Guild Association, baby. Go to them. Go to Tubi. Go to baddies. They got baddies boys and baddies girls. Go to Love Island. Go to them hoes. Don't come around me with all that acting stuff. Like if you're trying to personally develop yourself, I will communicate with you, but you still got to stay far back too because there's too many blind spots. I'm not dealing with people blind spots no more, especially dealing in a city that is number 50 in educate, the state that's number 50 in education. And every now and then us in Mississippi battle for the lowest scores. And you can literally see it in adults. Like these are some of the stupidest adults I've ever encountered in my life. And the only reason I didn't realize it growing up because I was a kid, even though I did peep like, hey, why do these people not know these things? When I was learning things in school and interacting with adults and they didn't even know what I was talking about, and I was in third, fourth grade. Like and I get that everyone wants to feel like it's the whole world, but that's an insult to the intelligent community out there. And that's the thing. People with sense are not always trying to be seen. So there's a lot of people with sense out there. If you really don't realize it, sensible people are the silent backbone for a lot of communities. That is why when you scare off all of the sensible people, we see what happens in these different cities where it becomes nothing but barbarians, people, newborn babies coming out the vagina with a gun in their hand. Like that's all ignorance and emotional dysfunction. And it's emotional dysfunctional people make billionaires billionaires. The people don't have to steal from you. The same people talking about boycott Target and calling people coons sit they musty ass up here twerking with Hennessy bottles when Hennessy is owned by a white billionaire. But y'all want to play color games. Like it's always pick and choose, but that's a different video. I'll drag you hoes another day. When I meet these people, it feels like one of those stories where a person discovers they were an alien, a magical creature, or something that never fully belonged to the world around them. And then they finally reconnect with their home people. That is how I feel when I meet like-minded individuals. It feels like recognition, not obsession, not dependency, recognition. Because if I were clingy, I would have tried to hold on to many of them. But your boy does not cling, not even to my car keys. And that is the deeper lesson. You do not escape the treadmill by buying better shoes. You escape the treadmill by asking, why were you running in the first place? Are you building a life or are you building a performance? Are you treating yourself or are you medicating emptiness? Are you chasing peace or are you chasing applause? Are you buying quality or are you buying identity? Are you living your dream or did society hand you a costume and convince you it was destiny? Because the treadmill does not stop on its own. You have to step off. You have to stop confusing motion with progress. You have to stop confusing attention with love. You have to stop confusing luxury with wealth. You have to stop confusing consumption with healing. And you have to stop letting people who are also running in circles define what winnings look like. The American dream was never supposed to become an emotional hamster wheel. A life of peace is not built by constantly upgrading the image. It is built by repairing the foundation. And sometimes the most luxurious thing you can own is a clean home, a calm nervous system, a paid bill, a healthy body, a reliable routine, and the ability to sit with yourself without needing the world to clap. And this is also a huge thing as to why a lot of people seem slow and retarded these days because a part of intelligence is being able to sit with yourself and process your own thoughts, to be able to try to answer questions without resources and figure out where was your weak points and strengthening those points. It's openness to learn new things. It's openness when a person is claiming to present facts, is to listen to the person and allow the facts to finish before you try to argue with them, because one sign of being an idiot is if a person comes with actual statistical facts from verifiable organizations and your first response is an opinion, not just any opinion, someone else's opinion. Shout out to Dr. Umar because one of his followers is out here doing his work for him for free, meanwhile drinking his life into a hole and trying to get a psychology degree when he can't even read in full sentences. Anyway, the delusion. But history and patterns has shown that majority of society lives lives that they don't have control over, and that's why people who become aware start to disturb people who want to live in a cycle, the people who want to live in the group, the people who want to chase validation. And chasing validation is so popular in certain situations that trying to not chase validation or trying to tell people the wrong in chasing validation, you will be weird, because whenever whoever is the minority is the weirdo. That's how it works in social dynamics. So if 50 people are idiots and you the one telling all of them it's a cliff on the other side of that door, do not open the door. They're gonna curse you out, they're gonna call you jealous. 25 of them gonna walk over that cliff, and then the other 25 gonna justify that that's not a cliff. They have a parachute at the bottom waiting for them. And they have a like the little thing that they used to use on the movies when the people would have to jump out of a tall building and stuff like that. The little thing that they would do with the fire department. I don't know if you watch TV, but if you don't, that's good because I don't either. I barely watch YouTube. I watch every now and I'll leave a comment, but honestly, I can't take anymore. Outside of like specific content like psychology, philosophy, finance stuff, updates to laws, even though I don't get my law information from online, I don't even get my finance information from online. I read about it, and that's why I watch the videos because I can already verify that the information being given is correct or is correct from the sources I read it from versus seeing things and taking that as the first thing. You have to start forming your own opinion about stuff because we can give all kind of standards of how people should live life, but every city, state, environment, neighborhood is different. Certain things I might recommend you to do, you might not be able to do in your neighborhood. If I told people to go out to nature and get more time with nature, you might live in a neighborhood where it is not safe to be outside. You might live in a neighborhood that has no nature because it's a concrete everything. So you have to learn what you need in your life outside of other people. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to waste your existence like majority of the people do. Some people wake up, some people be waking up at 60 and 70, 80. So it's hope. Thinking you old at 20, thinking you old at 30, 40, 50. You're not. You're not old until you're dead. That's when you old because your story ended and there's nothing else to be added to it. But when you're alive, you're never old. You just age. So there's always ways to change, but the scariness of it is what keeps people from doing it. And it's so scary because you're emotionally unregulated. When you're emotionally unregulated, emotions rule your life. Things that make you happy rule your life. Things that make you afraid or embarrassed rule your life. To where if something is positive but it's embarrassing, you will not do it. If buying a cash car and saving a car note worth of payment for all of your 20s would make you a millionaire by your 30s, but your friends gonna laugh at your car, even though if anybody's laughing at anything you have, that's not people that care about you. Because if someone is my friend, as long as you don't have a body odor issue or you're not a person who is controversial and picking on people, if you have a simple life, you could live in a shoebox. As long as that shoebox is clean and it don't smell like ass and mold, I'm rooting for you. I might even get you some housewarming gifts if we communicate. Because don't ever be that friend that we barely talk. Our relationship been died years ago, and you just carrying a ghost of a dead horse and thinking that you could send me gift things. You hoes don't even celebrate my birthday properly. Anyways, let me go before I go too far. I have to scrap this video like I did the other one yesterday. Y'all have a good one. Thank you again for the 1,000 subscribers. And like, don't just subscribe, like, interact. I know years ago I used to just be clicking subscribe. And then when I looked at my list, I had to remove a lot of channels because it's like, why am I even, But thank you.